Hola, mi nombre es Lily Rocha, soy la directora ejecutiva de Latino Restaurant Association y hoy estamos en la serie número 1 del Bootcamp. Tenemos estos programas porque nosotros de verdad queremos mucho a nuestros dueños de restaurantes latinos que siempre están ahí dándole duros con sus negocios y con todo. Y tratamos de tener estos programas disponibles para que ustedes tengan esta información, que es muy importante. Primero, vamos a empezar con un poquito de mi historia y de por qué estoy aquí, por qué estoy ayudando. Mis parientes son de Colombia y entonces, como muchos inmigrantes, mis padres abrieron un restaurante. Mi familia es de Colombia y como les digo, muchos inmigrantes tenemos que hacer muchas cosas y una de las cosas que hicimos que era un poquito más fácil es, bueno, se supone, las personas piensan que es fácil, pero era abrir un restaurante y mi mamá y mi papá abrieron un restaurante de comida colombiana porque mis padres son de Colombia. Entonces, nosotros tuvimos un restaurante colombiano, yo siempre trabajé en ese restaurante y como siempre estábamos trabajando en ese restaurante. Entonces, desde ese tiempo nosotros estamos... If everybody can If everyone can go ahead and put themselves on mute, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. So let me go ahead and start by introducing myself. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I will just say hello. My name is Lily Rocha. This session is being recorded. If everyone can put themselves on mute, that would be amazing. Lily Rocha here. I'm the executive director of the Latino Restaurant Association, and this is our first series. Again, you don't have to go to all the series. If you miss this one, you can go to the next one. If you miss the next one, so they don't really are dependent on each other. They're by themselves, their own sessions. So welcome. We'll be having a Q&A at the end. We have people popping in and out. That's fine. And so again, my name is Lily Rocha. I am the executive director of the Latino Restaurant Association. Let me turn my music off here. Today, we're going to be going ahead and talking about best practices of the restaurant industry. And I have a phrase that I put here, let's win together, because I truly believe this. This is something that has been my life philosophy. A little bit about myself, for those of you who don't know me. My parents had a restaurant, and so I worked there since I was, I think like 12 years old, all the way up to my high school years. So I worked in my parents' restaurant, but that's not what makes me an expert in restaurants. Okay. What makes me a restaurant expert is my work after college, working in restaurants, in the restaurant industry, and in the hospitality industry. So that's kind of what my background is. And that's where I call myself a restaurant expert. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things that I call best practices in the restaurant industry and things to keep in mind. So right now, the first thing I want to ask people to ask themselves is, why are you in the restaurant industry? Why are you? So think about it. Why are you in the restaurant industry? What made you come to the restaurant industry? It could be anything from your family already had a restaurant, or you were passionate, or you're a chef, or you're thinking about a restaurant industry, owning a restaurant. So kind of, ask yourself that question. I'm going to go ahead and take off my shirt because I am hot right now. It's getting a little hot in here. So that's a great question to start asking yourself. Why are you in the restaurant industry? Why am I in the restaurant industry? For me, I can answer that because I'm not in the restaurant industry per se. I don't own a restaurant, but I'm helping restaurants, and it's my pleasure and brings me a lot of joy. And it's something that I absolutely am passionate about because my parents were in the restaurant industry. I love everything about it. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about me with that. I have a very, I have an affinity towards restaurant technology. So the food technology industry is my passion. That is what I hope to be doing in 10 years from now. So ask yourself that question. What are you going to be doing 10 years from now? What do you see yourself doing 10 years from now? So 10 years from now, I hope to be, doing some exciting work or even in 5 years, doing some exciting work in the food technology. What does that mean? We've all seen DoorDash, we've seen Grubhub, but there's a lot of other technology in the restaurant industry, ghost kitchens, we've seen the virtual brands. So I really do feel that that is the wave of the future. And so I would like to eventually be involved in that area of business. So that's something that I see myself doing. So that's a good question. That's the first question for you. The next question for you is, what type of business are you in? Okay, restaurant industry. I want to explain and so everyone understands, restaurant industry is such a vast industry. We have everything from little food carts, okay, that one person owns, little tiny food cart, to a restaurant chain that is owned by thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Like I was talking to someone today, and we were talking about the Darden industry. That's a huge industry which employs thousands and thousands of people, and they're one of the largest chains of restaurants, one of the largest employers, and they own lots of different restaurants, different types of restaurants, different themed restaurants. So asking yourself, like, where you want to go, where do I see myself going? That having that plan, having that roadmap is so important. And that's what this is about. In the next few weeks, we have other presenters, more exciting than me, much more exciting than me, that are going to teach you and talk to you about that roadmap, the roadmap to success, about, so many different things, whether it's technology, back office, your financials, things like that, that are really going to make a difference. So that's another area that, we ask people to ask themselves that question. What type of restaurant business are you trying to run? Are you trying to run one restaurant? Do you have an idea to make a few restaurants? You want to go for having a big chain of restaurants? So all of these are great questions. And then how are you going to get there? Where are you going to get the money? Where are you going to get the resources? So all of these things can happen. For us, Latino Restaurant Association, it's a little bit harder because sometimes we don't have the resources, we don't have the money, we don't have, so many things. So things are a little bit more difficult for us. But I will tell you, I have seen many Latinos. I'm personal friends with Señor Miguel Gonzalez, the owner of Northgate Markets. He will tell you his story. He started with one. The family had no money. They all pulled their money together. And thank God that family is that kind of family that can do that, work together. And now they're a multi-billion-dollar industry. So again, interesting that, we can see them as an example of people who have done things. It's taken a long time. Don't get me wrong. I think they just had their 30th anniversary or 40th. I can't remember. It was during the pandemic. So great people, great knowledge, and they give back to the community. They are actually part of our board of directors of the Latino Food Industry Association. So again, Latinos are absolutely here to help. I know that sometimes we, tend to see each other with competitiveness and competition. I hear the crab mentality a lot, but I know that there's a lot of good people out there that want to see you succeed and are here to help. And I hope that I can be one of them for you. So going on to the next topic, which is money. Okay, so money is, and I have a little bit to say about that, because I touched upon what, kind of obstacles we have with regard to money. And so a lot of times we don't have any money, we don't know where to get money. We don't understand how to handle money. And so nothing wrong with that. If you are a person who knows how to handle money, has money, and comes from money, great. I'm so happy for you. But sometimes, like me, I didn't come from money. I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know how to handle money. So I had to go and learn. During the pandemic, we found out that many Latino restaurants, especially smaller restaurants, did not receive any PPP money. The reason for that is because the PPP money was being immediately applied to the big restaurants because they had a relationship with their bank. So let's say I was a chain restaurant, I own a chain of restaurants. I already have a great relationship with my bank. So as soon as the government says, hey, have your CPA apply for this, my CPA already did it automatically for the chain restaurant. So they got a ton of money. A lot of us Latinos, we don't have those relationships with our banks. I'm going to tell you, one of the best things that you can do is have a relationship with your bank. And it doesn't matter. It could be Chase, B of A, it could be City National, Bank of the West. Like my favorites, I will say for us, it's Bank of the West, because they're one of our sponsors, US Bank, Union Bank, and those are Union Bank, US Bank, Bank of the West. Those are the banks that we have a relationship with, but any bank can help you that, whether you have a small amount of money in your account, which, I could have $100 in my savings or whatever, or you have a lot of money. It's so important to have that relationship with your bank, because they are the conduit, they are the liaison between a lot of these programs and anything else really with your CPA, with some of the other bookkeeping. Your bank plays a role in that, and to have a relationship with your bank is so, so important. So those were one of the things that came out of the pandemic, that we saw that Latinos did not have any relationships with their bank. And so they lost out on a lot of opportunities that went to other people. And we heard, all the big chains, they're getting a lot of money. Well, that's because their CPAs, their bankers were ready to put in those applications for them. And you too can have that relationship with your bank. Now, I'm going to say, I didn't have those relationships with my bank when I started my business 15 years ago. And I wish I did, because that would have made a difference. I probably lost about $200,000 of my own money because I didn't have those relationships with my bank, at the time that I had that small business. So anyways, that's something that, for a lot of us, it's good to have those and good to learn. So again, going back to let's win together. We are here to win together. We live in the 11th largest economy in the world. Okay, California. Think about it. 11th largest economy in the world. There's enough money here for every single person that's in California to have over $250,000 a year, basically a year money. So that is the kind of wealth we live in. So there's going to be competition, but you don't need to, kind of focus on this one has a Mexican restaurant, so I can't open you can open a Mexican restaurant. You can open this other business. It's not necessarily about that. There's other things that make you successful. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. Okay. So here is one of the things we're going to talk about. So I don't know if any of you have a background in business, but in business school, there is a basic book called the E-Myth. This is not the book. This one is called E-Myth Mastery. It's the second book, but the first book is called E-Myth. Okay, so E-Myth is a book by Michael Gerber, and that book basically, I'm going to stop sharing. That book is a book that talks about a little bit about just business in general. So the Michael Gerber wrote this book in the, I believe, 80s or 90s, called E-Myth, the E-Myth. And like I said, this one is the E-Myth Mastery. So he wrote the book because he wanted to tell you his message, number one message is work on your business, not in your business. Okay, that's the goal. I know right now, like it's not possible because of what we're doing. Work on your business, not in your business. Okay, so that is the goal that he set for us. In a lot of ways, that still makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what that means is that he taught us that there are three key people in a business. Okay, one is the entrepreneur with the vision, the visionary, the dreamer. El que está soñando, that's the guy or girl, gal, whatever, who's the dreamer. Okay. Then the second person in the business is the manager. Okay. The manager It's like without the manager, there would be no planning, no order, no predictability. The manager is very important. And then the third kind of person is the technician. That's the doer who always lives in the present. Like, what is happening today? Now, what happens when you're a small business, you have to be all three of them. You have to be the dreamer, you have to be the manager, and you have to be the technician. And so that sometimes does not work out. One of the things one of the things that happens with entrepreneurs is that those three things are so important, and we try to do all three of them, and then we can't do all three of them. So somebody has to be the dreamer, the technician, the manager. Okay. And it doesn't work out. So one of the examples that they give for this, and I'm going to share my screen right now, is the example of the pie shop. Okay, this is really, really important because the E-myth talks about that bakers shouldn't run bakeries, plumbers shouldn't run plumbing. So I hope we understand that. So like if you're a taquero, they're saying taqueros shouldn't run the taqueria. Okay, so that's the idea. However, E-myth mastery and later we found out that taqueros can run the taqueria if they become a manager. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. So one of the things is that everybody was having their businesses running by managers only and by technicians, that they lost the flavor, el sabor, like the business didn't have flavor. So they were saying that, hey, the business is okay, but it's not doing like, because you do need the dreamer. You need that person who's passionate. That's the guy, that's the person with the passion. So that's what they're talking about. But this story is about, the story is about the baker, Sally the baker. So Sally the baker basically, here we go. The story of I'm sorry, it was Sarah's pie shop. So the story of Sarah's pie shop is that as a child, Sarah learned how to bake pies from her aunt. She loved baking pies and told her aunt that pies were the best ever. She dreamed of owning her own pie shop. So Sarah was the pie queen. She made pies. She loved pies. Everybody loved her pies, right? So she dreamed of owning her own pie shop and made that dream come true. So she went ahead and opened up a pie shop. But 3 years into it, she found out that, the business wasn't about pies. It was about work. And that's where people get really confused. It's like work is work and pies are pies. And so she found out that the work she used to love more than anything else became, something she hated. So because she hated doing that part of it. So she said, I got into the bakery, I get into the bakery at 3 a.m. and I bake pies, open the shop, take care of business, close, blah, 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 have dinner. And then she does it all over again and she didn't like it. So basically what happened to Sarah is that she ended up going out of business. So Sarah ended up having no business, going out of business. And everybody was like, well, why is she out of business if she makes the best pies? I love her pies. I am so, into her pies, all of these things. Well, because Sarah didn't know how to run a business, and running a pie business is not the same thing as making pies. Okay. So, and that's what we're talking about here. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that people understand, that, running a restaurant business is not cooking. Okay. It's not being a chef. And so that's kind of like, those are the two things that we need to merge. So again, going back to my first questions, why are you here? Why are you in the restaurant industry? What type of business do you want to see yourself in? Because if you see yourself as a person who sees a chain, like I want to own 10 restaurants, I want to own a chain, then you know what? You better become an expert on opening up franchises or a chain of 10. Okay. You don't need to be the best taco in town. You need to be an expert in opening up chains. Okay. So that's kind of like what we're kind of making sure that people understand, that inside of your restaurant business, there's many facets, but it's really important that you understand that managing that business is a different part of the business than, the cooking and all that stuff. That's different. Sometimes, like now, we have to become that person, the cook, the manager, the technician. And so that's where it becomes hard. However, as hard as that is, you have to really try to get to the point where you're going to be hiring other people to do those jobs, because you do not want to be doing all of those jobs. Right now, I have never seen a labor shortage as horrible as the one we have right now. So the things that I'm talking about, they're difficult, but they're going to be more difficult now because of the pandemic. I have never seen a labor shortage this bad before. It's bad. It's bad. Even even the LRA has a labor shortage. So it's pretty bad. But those are the kind of, situations that, we're saying, hey, making sure that when you go into the business of running a restaurant, you understand what that means. That's going to mean a few things. So let me go ahead and share my screen again, and we can go ahead and talk about some of those. Okay, so again, let's win together. Okay, so business planning, incredibly important. Okay, business planning is something that you have to sit down and do. As much as some people are, like a lot of us Latinos, se meten y, that's it. Like they just go, and you really need to do a lot of business planning. And, and it's really fun, and it's actually really rewarding when you do it, and then you see that you can check off your boxes and make sure that you're doing your business planning. Again, in the future series, we're going to be talking about these more specifically. Today, I'm giving just a general overview of what that means. General operations. Number 2, general operations is going to be basically the operating of your business. Okay. And there's going to be different parts of it. There's going to be, running the kitchen, running the marketing. How do you get, your customers back? HR, human resources. You have to run your employees. So there's a lot of things that are, in general operations. And then you don't need to be an expert in these. Again, the goal is to hire other people to help you with this. So to make this successful. Okay. Number 3, and we're going to have Q&A later. So just hold tight, and then I'm happy to answer questions. Number 3, commercial scaling and marketing. That's what I'm talking about. Are you thinking about becoming a chain? Are you thinking about having 2 locations? So scaling is just growing. That's what scaling means. So in commercial growth, what is it that you're looking at? Okay. Marketing. Oh my God, don't even get me started. There's so much marketing right now. So everything from social media marketing, email marketing, print marketing, networking marketing. So that's like basically, how are you going to sell your restaurant to people? How are you going to get people into your restaurant? How are you going to get people there? So that we have a whole class on that as well. So that's another exciting class. So the marketing. Number 4, cash flow management. That's a typo. It should say flow. So it should say cash flow marketing. Cash flow marketing management. Sorry. Cash flow management. That is such an important thing, because you have to understand like how to, have cash ready to make payments to bills, pay your employees, buy inventory, all of that. There's tricks, and there's ways to do your taxes so that you have certain cash. There's ways to have your accounting done. And that's another class that we have, and that's going to be taught by a bank professional. I'm not the expert in that, but I know a little bit about it. So these are the areas of focus that we're going to be talking about. You don't need to be in every class to understand everything. We're happy if you can attend. Next week, we have, like I said, other people who are teaching the class, and we're really excited about it. So those are the areas of focus. Sorry about that. So those are the areas of focus that we're talking about. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and see if anybody has any questions. I was texted a question, but if anybody has a question, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question. I'm going to go ahead and answer the question that I was texted, which is, my restaurant is currently closed and only open for dinner. What do you recommend we do as far as our marketing? Okay, so again, that's the question that I see here on my text. So the question is a very specific question regarding hours that are open. A lot of restaurants are closed right now. A lot of restaurants are only open during dinner. So again, a very specific marketing question that I will pass on to our marketing people, because there's a lot of different answers for that. It all depends on where you're located. What kind of flow did you have for lunch? Is this just a dinner? What time do you guys close? So there's a lot of questions I would need to ask you to, have the answers to these questions. Again, anything like that, we're happy to deal with you one-on-one. I'm always open for a coaching session. I've been, in the restaurant industry. I've worked in restaurants. I manage restaurants. And we still work with a lot of restaurants. So anyways, I see a couple people that have joined us through the Zoom, which is another one of our platforms. So I think Roger, did you want to say anything? Roger Alvarez, did you have if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, I would love to answer any questions or see what you're thinking so far with regard to this presentation.
Yeah, what I believe that is very important about, the cash flow, taxes, because when I had my restaurant, I didn't know anything about it. And just put all the receipts together every day and pass to the accountant, but I didn't know anything about the taxes. Yes, that's really important.
What kind of cash flow, like how do you manage your cash flow right now?
Oh, right now, I'm in different industry, but in different industry. I'm in the cleaning industry, but
Okay.
I'm moving to the real estate. But my passion is the restaurant industry.
Okay. Yeah, because there's, again, that's a great, thank you for letting us know, because there's ways to manage cash flow. Like, for example, the types of account you can open at your bank. There's some accounts that you can put money into the bank and then get a credit. You can open a line of credit. So line of credits, it's a lot of people do line of credit, and then they keep their cash so that they can use line of credit and pay off things, in a different way. So that's our expert, Gilbert Buchanan. He can talk about that. Also our banking partners can tell you a little bit more about that. But again, it's all about your vision and what you're wanting to do with your business. Like if you're basically looking at, just this business, like right now, catering is a big deal, right? Because we're having come back in events. So let's say you just want to be an event catering person. So then, that's a different way to handle your money, your employees, all of your operations are different than a brick and mortar restaurant. So, dealing with somebody who only does catering, like, are you doing it in a commercial kitchen? Are you doing it in a restaurant? Are you, how are you hiring people to do that? So those are the kind of things that, we ask. So I think we have a catering company. See that it's called Carmelita Catering. Do you have any questions regarding the catering? I ask you to unmute yourself and see is that Carla Putz? Oops.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I'm streaming my show, and then it's just on my big screen and it's making a loud noise. But
No problem.
yes, we are in Norwest, Arkansas. We came across your information, and I started a catering company in Norwest, Arkansas in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
We started August of 2020, and we have been, thank God, very successful with authentic traditional Mexican food. And it is a real challenge for us as caterers, having the staff on site. As you know, everybody has issues with staff, but just simply it's a whole different animal. We used to have a food truck in California, and so that was a completely different business. And now, November of this year, I'm hoping to have my doors open with a modern Mexican restaurant here in Arkansas. So I'm just trying to learn more about the restaurant industry itself, because I've never owned a restaurant before. Okay. And I do understand it's completely different than what I've been doing so far.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you for your comments, number one. Number two, thank you for sharing and welcome from Northwest Arkansas. I guess that's the home of Bill and Hillary, right?
Yes. Well, actually, it's the home of Walmart.
Oh, are you
Walmart,
close? Are you close?
Tyson.
Okay. Are you close to Walmart?
Yes, yes, we are in the hub of home, Walmart.
Okay, awesome. So one of our good friends, he's the Latino, one of the top Latino executives at Walmart. He works a lot in Bentonville, Arkansas. His name
Yep.
is, I'm gonna put it in the chat so you know. I can absolutely even connect you with him. His name is Javier Angulo. And he is, like I said, he's one of the top executives at Walmart, and I can let him know that you guys are there. And I don't know if you have a
Awesome.
relationship with Walmart already.
No, not yet. Like I said, I'm barely starting. We focus on the wedding industry because that really didn't stop. It just got very small with smaller weddings.
Okay.
But I haven't been able to break into the corporate yet.
Right, and that's a good,
But I
and that's
really
a whole
appreciate it.
different, and that's a whole different animal. Sorry to interrupt you. I
Mhm.
love that you just said that. So catering weddings versus catering corporate, very different. And
Yes.
so, no, I'm happy to put you in touch with Javier. He lives here in Los Angeles, but I know he's always in Arkansas because he works for Walmart. So I'm sure he would be happy to know that you have a restaurant or you're going to have a restaurant in the future. Walmart. But again, one of the things that we do as well, one-on-one, we help you scale your catering for corporate. One of the things, like what I did with one of the past students, was to help him put a sales sheet together, which is very important for corporate, because they want to see like what items you have, and then you sell them in bulk, instead of like just one pie, you're going to say 15 pies for this much. So it's a different type of sale. Also very important that you connect yourself with the community, right? That's how you're going to get corporate catering, going to the chambers of commerce. I think I was talking to Roger earlier before the class, and he was telling me that he really wants to do a lot of networking. And that is so important for you to be out there, if you can. I know that right now it's tough. Here, I'm going to put you on mute for 1 second. So it's like very, very, very important that you do that. And again, it's tough right now, especially with like no employees and stuff, but being out there in the community, whether it's the chamber, whether it's like a community parade or whatever, those kind of things are going to really help you get noticed by the community. Okay. And I want to tell you, I am so proud of you that you're over in Arkansas doing your thing, girl. That is awesome. That is awesome. Like, I'm just like so happy right now. And, you can count on us. Okay. Here in LA, I don't know what we can do, but we'll try to back you up and have, some, whatever we can help you with. If we can do it, we're here for you. So I just want you to know that. And we're really happy that you're there doing your thing. So that's pretty awesome. So any other, so you're, besides weddings, are you doing any other kind of catering right now? I'll let you unmute. So.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm doing weddings. I am doing small private events like gatherings. The University of Arkansas, some of the classes, the professors, the coaches are calling us because, like I said, our product is very different than what's around here. Nice. It's very traditional and it's very simple, very clean. And so we source most of what we have locally from other vendors and from other small business owners. Nice. So I'm always pushing for that, and people see that it's not your traditional Mexican food that they're used to in the area, like the crunchy tacos and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So I present.
Oh, hey, I just went to Houston, and crunchy tacos are a thing there. And I was like, no, but then I tried it, and they did like a chorizo crunchy taco. It was so delicious. It was really.
Yeah. But what I mean is, I show them that there is more than that.
Right. That we, no, I get it. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So.
No,
we do everything from handmade tortillas to we try to cook on site, which they you know, that around here is a big thing, is having handmade tortillas. It's a big deal. So
Yeah.
we try to keep it as traditional and as clean as possible. And so it's helping. But yeah, I love that I was able to find you guys and recently started looking at more information and just learning. It's always important to keep yourself moving forward and learning and just
Yeah.
find new things.
Yeah, and thank you so much. You know, one of the things that I do advise you to whoever you bank with, you know, go and talk to them too. Talk to them about like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, and they'll give you, and don't talk to one person, talk to several. Okay, don't talk to one, talk to several, because you're going to start getting like some good business planning, as we were talking about. So you can kind of get an idea, because you really do want to have that relationship with the bank. Even if you don't need a loan or any money, it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's just about like, they might be able to give you some good tips on some things, you know, like cash flow management and some, you know, like accounting and things like that. Cause that really is helpful. Even no matter how small you are, you know, it's always a good idea. So that's something that I tell you to do for sure. And I'm again, so glad that you're, you know, doing your thing out there. So good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Perfect. Getting back to the presentation, I'm going to wind down. We are going to finish at, you know, closer to, you know, like 3:45. If anybody has any questions, that's great. But yeah, going back to kind of like scaling the business. So in the next few weeks, every Monday, we have and I think, Abril, what time do we have? We have the Spanish at 1:15, and then we have the English at 3 o'clock. You know, the next ones were going to be more exciting. They're going to be the people who are actually going to give you the information. So we're talking about, you know, scaling your business, how to do the accounting with the QuickBooks. We're not going to teach QuickBooks, but we're going to talk about the QuickBooks, how to set up your back office. One of the things that, you know, this class also emphasizes is that you should have all your papers in order. Like when I say papers in order, is like your permits, your certifications of any kind, like especially now, if you're like minority owned. And I think in Arkansas, you should also check that out, because they also, there's a place that will certify you as like a woman-owned business, but then they also help you find other business. So they'll announce that you're like, oh, this person has a catering business and she's a woman-owned business, and they'll help you, or, you know, minority-owned business, and they'll help like promote you. So that's one of the other things that you can do with your certifications, but have all that information, your taxes, all of that in one place, whether it's digital or whether it's, you know, hard copies. All of those things should be always together, so that when you go to your bank or go to, you know, get a loan or whatever, you have everything together. You know, that's, I cannot emphasize that enough, because of the fact that, you know, people just have a big mess sometimes. Like me, I'm like the biggest, like, you know, I have like the biggest mess a lot of times. And so, you know, sometimes it's, you know, it's easy to say, but not easy to do. So try to do things like that. Again, asking yourself that question about, you know, what am I trying to do? Where am I trying to go? The business planning. We have restaurant business plans available. We can help with that. We give you kind of a template so you can kind of do your own roadmap. We have Gilbert Buchanan, who usually teaches the session. He's like the best in giving you that roadmap. We have people, you know, in banking, people who, you know, they just know what, you know, they know their stuff. So we have a lot of, you know, people that are here to help you. You know, do you know what a balance sheet is? Do you know what a profit and loss statement is? Those are the kind of things that you should know, and that you should really understand when someone asks you, like, how much does your burrito cost? And you say, oh, well, it's, you know, for catering, it's $10.99. For if you buy it at my restaurant, it's $12. But the real question is, how much does it cost to make it? Do you know how much it costs to make that burrito? You should know that. You should know that, the answer to that question. And if you don't know the answer to the question, that's what we're talking about, profit margin. Because I know people that it costs them $10 to make the burrito, and they sell the burrito for $10. What is happening here? Are they breaking even? somebody will say they're breaking even. No, they're actually losing money. They're losing money because if your burrito costs $10 to make and you're selling it for $10, what about your time? What about your labor? What about this? So you're actually giving away a burrito for free, okay? And you're actually paying people to come and eat. So there is no point in doing that. But I know a lot of people that do that. A lot of people that are actually, they don't understand the cost of what their product. You also, it's not just like the tortilla, the beans, the rice, the meat that goes in it. It's also the mortgage, the labor, the insurance. You have to put all of those things. The good news is that there's spreadsheets with formulas already built in, making it easy for you. So those are the kind of things that we can help provide you with so that you know what your cost of goods is. Because if that burrito costs you $11 to make and you're selling it for $12, you're making $1. And then you take out all the other stuff, you're making 10 cents off that burrito. I can make 10 cents by selling some crap on eBay. So I don't need to have a restaurant to do that. So the goal is making money or just giving away food, so it's just, there's a lot of things to be, thinking about. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and see if anyone else has any questions. Great. I see that you're trying to get certified as woman-owned. Perfect. When you get certified, make sure that whoever is certifying you, that they're helping you promote it as well. Okay. Because that's something that's really important. So if you're going to get certified, great. Then have them help you like promote it. And that's going to be amazing as well. So, all right. If no one has any other questions, I'll give you like a second to unmute yourselves. Other than that, that is the end of the session. The LRA is here to help. Like I said, this is a light session. We're going to get really into the nitty gritty next week with Sofia Pinzon. She's our professional. She has an MBA. She owns a chain of restaurants called Avo Toasty in San Francisco. She's from Colombia. She's amazing. And she'll be here to, give a lot of great detailed information about the restaurant industry. And so we hope that you guys will join us again. We are anticipating this. We had some technical issues today, but we're anticipating a full class next week. And it will be, like I said, free to members. We're here to provide these kind of classes, resources, advocacy. I would love to come and visit you when I come to Arkansas. I've never been to Arkansas, so but I would love to go, and we'll have to have a coffee together. So Roger, thank you again for joining us. And if you have any questions, text me, because
Okay.
You can't call me. Okay.
Okay.
The only way to reach me is by text, because a lot of people call me and I can't answer my phone. So
Perfect.
text me, say, this is Roger, I have a question, whatever you need, Roger. Thank you
Great.
so much. And I hope to see you at the Antojo Expo
Yes.
in Pasadena. Okay. And then hopefully at our next mixer. The next mixer is in Orange County, but the one after that is going to be in the Valley. So that's where you're located. We hope to see you there.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and